Ah, the mighty saber-tooth cat, that iconic predator of the Ice Age with its enormous teeth, muscular build, and fierce reputation. But let's get real for a second. While these creatures are undeniably cool to look at, their lives weren't all teeth and claws. In fact, it sucked to be born a saber-tooth, and here's why. Let's start with the most obvious issue: food. You might think that having those massive fangs would give you an automatic free pass to feast on giant mammoths and bison. But in reality, hunting for such large prey wasn't nearly as easy as it sounds. Sure, you could take down something huge, but only with tons of energy, teamwork, and, let's be honest, a bit of luck. Big prey didn't just roll over and offer themselves up on a silver platter. The saber-tooth had to rely on catching large animals, which was a risky and exhausting game. And even then, with all that power and skill, there was no guarantee you'd succeed. Imagine spending an entire day hunting only to come up empty-handed. Talk about a disappointing dinner. Even if the saber-tooth did manage to catch something, it wasn't all smooth sailing from there. Eating with those giant teeth was no easy feat. Sure, they were great for stabbing into prey, but when it came to actually chewing, it was a nightmare. Those long teeth made the act of gnawing through flesh more awkward than satisfying. Rather than chewing like modern big cats, saber-tooths had to rip and tear at their food, often struggling to make progress. It was like trying to eat a steak with a set of barbecue skewers instead of a knife and fork. Not exactly gourmet dining, but the problems didn't stop there. Once you've finally caught and eaten a meal, you now have to worry about surviving the constant dangers of the Ice Age. Saber-tooths didn't live in a peaceful paradise. They were in constant competition with other predators. Whether it was a rival saber-tooth or a large bear, your dinner was always at risk of being stolen. And don't think that just because you're armed with giant teeth, you're invincible. Those same teeth that made you a terrifying hunter also made you an easy target in fights. Sure, they looked cool, but fighting with those massive fangs was tricky and dangerous, and one wrong move could leave you injured, or worse, dead. And let's talk about the environment. The Ice Age was cold, really cold. Sure, the saber-tooth had thick fur to help insulate it, but no amount of fur could make up for the brutal, biting chill of constant snowstorms and freezing temperatures. The thick snow, icy winds, and shifting glaciers were a constant obstacle. It wasn't just a matter of surviving the cold either. It made hunting and traveling incredibly difficult. A saber-tooth might have been a skilled predator, but against the harsh, unrelenting conditions, even the best adaptations could only go so far. Then, on top of all that, there was the issue of longevity. Life in the Ice Age wasn't long for a saber-tooth. The changing climate, shifting ecosystems, and loss of prey over time made survival harder and harder. Being a specialized predator meant that when the environment started changing, the saber-tooth's unique adaptations, huge teeth, large size, and dependence on specific prey became a serious liability. As the climate warmed, their world began to shrink, and so did their chances of survival. The very traits that made them kings of the Ice Age eventually sealed their fate, as their specialized bodies couldn't keep up with the shifting world around them. So, when you think of a saber-tooth, don't just picture a massive, intimidating predator ready to take down anything in its path. Think about the constant struggle, hunting massive prey, eating awkwardly, dealing with rival predators, fighting for survival in a harsh, cold environment, and facing an uncertain future. The life of a saber-tooth was one of constant stress and danger. It wasn't just about being the strongest or the fiercest. It was about hoping to survive another day in a world that was anything but kind to them. In the end, being a saber-tooth wasn't as glamorous as it might seem. Yes, they had teeth that would make any modern predator jealous, but those same teeth, along with their massive size, made survival difficult. So, while they may have looked cool, being born a saber-tooth cat was far from a dream life. They were powerful, sure, but they were also fighting a losing battle in an unforgiving world. The next time you see a saber-tooth, remember, It wasn't just the king of the Ice Age, it was also an overpowered, awkwardly built, and constantly struggling creature who was probably just trying to survive like the rest of us. And hey, at least they went out with a bang, even if it wasn't the happy ending we all wish for our favorite prehistoric predators.